So good morning, everybody. My name is Awa Diop, and I am working as an administrator at the Poverty and Economic Policy Research Network. I'm working at the African office of the PEP network. PEP network has been chosen among other institutions to organize the 2012 PEGNet conference. So the 2012 PEGNet conference will be held from September 6 to 7, 2012 in Dakar, the capital of Senegal. And the theme will be how to make African economic lions, tapping Africa's growth and poverty reduction potentials. It will be organized in partnership with the Kiel Institute for the World Economy, the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, and GIZ, the local office of GIZ. The conference will provide a platform for high-level dialogue between development researchers, practitioners, and policymakers. So for those of you who don't know PEP Network, let me say a few words about the next year local organizer. The PEP Network is an international network of researchers in developing countries who have the skills and the reputations to contribute to national and international academic and policy debates on poverty issues. The main objectives of the network are to better understand the causes and consequences of poverty, to propose pro-poor policies and programs, to improve the measurement and monitoring of poverty, to strengthen local research and capacity on poverty issues, to develop new concepts and techniques for poverty analysis. So, well, why PEP has been chosen by PEGNet to co-organize their next meeting? PEP is an international network with 4 regional offices. There is an office in Asia, in the Philippines, hosted by the Angelo King Institute. Another office in Latin America, in Peru, hosted by GRADE, el Grupo de Análisis para el Desarrollo. Another office in North America, in Quebec, hosted by the Laval University. And the African office in Dakar, hosted by CRES, Consortium pour la recherche économique et sociale. Our main funding donors are AUSAID, the Australian Agency for International Development, SIDA, the Canadian International Development Agency, and IDRC, the International Development Research Center. But PEP is always seeking for new donors to support more research and more projects in developing countries. Since its creation in 2002, PEP has supported 513 researchers through 171 studies in 49 developing countries all around the world. Through funding and scientific support, PEP promotes Southern expertise, 168 working papers, 81 policy briefs, and 25 journal articles have been published so far. 60 PEP national policy conferences in developing countries and 75 international conference presentations have been funded. PEP promotes analytical briefs, innovations, and expertise in development research through CGA modeling and macro-micro simulations, through experimental and non-experimental impact evaluations, DAD and DASP software packages, multidimensional approach to poverty measuring and analysis, community-based monitoring systems, etc. PEP realizes its objectives through 4 research programs. The first research program is the Community-Based Monitoring System Program, CBMS. CBMS helps researchers to develop and institutionalize community-based poverty monitoring systems in developing countries. The second research program is the Policy Impact Evaluation Research Initiative, PERI, which evaluates through experimental and non-experimental methods impacts of government programs and interventions to foster human capital investment in rural areas. The third program is the MPIA program, Modeling and Policy Impact Analysis, which supports researchers in constructing and using micro and macro models to study the impacts of macroeconomic shocks and policies on poverty. And the fourth program is the Poverty Monitoring, Measurement and Analysis Program, which assists researchers in developing and applying tools to monitor, measure, and analyze poverty. Our main themes of research is the community-based monitoring systems, gender, program impact evaluation, children, globalization and trade, labor markets, fiscal policy, education and training, health, and poverty and inequality. PEP core activities are first giving support for research on poverty. The 4 programs of PEP form the basis for providing scientific and financial support to researchers in developing countries. The Young Research Initiative, which goal is to contribute to young researchers and particularly African researchers' capacity building. The Joint Research Initiative, it's currently a key mechanism for seeking new financing for the network. The Commission Studies, which aims to mobilize and promote existing research capacities of researchers in the network. The PEP Training Schools, which allow the network to enhance its own capabilities and expand its pool of talents by training new researchers as well as experts of the administration. And dissemination activities, which objective is to reach the national, subnational, and continental policymakers and stakeholders in the poverty debate. To finish my presentation, let me say a few words about Senegal for those of you who don't know Senegal. So it's a country of the west coast of Africa. It's a French-speaking country. The capital city is Dakar. The population is estimated to 12.5 million of inhabitants. Dakar accounts only 0.3% of the land area, but for 1/4 of its population, and over 60% of the country's economic activity is concentrated in Dakar. The economy is dominated by a few strategic sectors, including groundnuts, fisheries, services, and tourism. So what we can say about Senegal is that maybe it's a poor country regarding economic standards, but if we consider the culture and the people, we can say that it's one of the richest countries in the world. Senegal is also called for that reason the country of Teranga, le pays de la Teranga. Teranga is a Senegalese word which means hospitality. So we hope that all of you will come to the next PEGNet conference in 2012 to discover our legendary Senegalese sense of hospitality. Thank you for your attention and see you next year.